religious freedom we're seeing is greatly under assault. And there's nobody who knows better about what's going on and the extent of this than Matt Staver, who is the president and founder of Liberty Counsel, which is doing a fantastic job and has for a long time in defending from a constitutional and biblical perspective, which they do work together, those areas of constitutional freedoms that we have. So, Matt, I thank you for being with us right now. There are a couple of things that you are right smack in the middle of. One of them was over the weekend, Chief Justice Roberts, in a 5-4 decision by the U.S. Supreme Court, overruled a challenge that you and Liberty Counsel were a part of on behalf of pastors in California. I think it was by Governor Newsom had done some policies there. I think this was the South Bay United Pentecostal Church case. But if you could, because that did not go in favor of that case, update us briefly on the essence of this case, the impact on California churches, and if there is any impact on churches across the nation as a result of it, what is that?
Well, let me thank you, Sam. Let me begin by making some corrections with regards to the description of that situation. First of all, it wasn't our case. It was a case handled by some other attorneys. We were very much aware of it. We did have a case out of Illinois, and we got complete victory out of that one, and it also was before the U.S. Supreme Court, so maybe that might be some area of confusion. Secondly, the media misrepresented it. It wasn't a 5-4 decision on anything. It was just simply a denial of that California church's request for an extraordinary relief, that is, to enter an injunction pending the appeal when the lower court did not grant that injunction. So that's a very, very high bar to cross. It's the highest bar to get the court to actually do anything at all. So in that respect, it was 5-4 that they did not want to grant it at that time. The third thing that the media got wrong is it's not an opinion by Chief Justice John Roberts. He just had a single opinion, but he concurred, and it's just him. No one joined him, and that has zero precedent. First of all, the entire process has zero precedent. And secondly, a single statement that was short by Justice John Roberts, the Chief Justice, has no precedent. So in the final analysis, it has zero impact on the churches, none whatsoever. Those cases in California that are represented by very good counsel that we know and that we respect will go on. Our cases across the country will go on as a result of our request to the U.S. Supreme Court to intervene in the Illinois case within 4 hours of the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, having to file his response. He went from the worst state in the country in which he was going to kick the can down the road 12 to 18 months before churches got anywhere near above maybe 50. They're only at 10 at that point. He completely removed every restriction, all restrictions on churches and houses of worship. In Illinois, it's now one of the freest states in the country, and that's because we drugged the governor to the steps of the Supreme Court, and he realized he was in a problem. So as a result of that case, we represent Romanian churches in Illinois that have been very much targets of really abusive thug-type tactics, blocking off 9 blocks of parking on the street, and they don't use the street, then towing the neighbors' cars, hoping to get the neighbors mad, but the neighbors realize the church doesn't use the street parking, then blocking the private entrance to the church's parking lot with 3 police cars, but that didn't stop them, and then ultimately giving 2 disorderly conduct charges to the pastors for conducting a worship service in excess of 10 people, and then giving them a letter last Saturday, a week ago, saying that, in fact, if they had any service above 10, they're a public nuisance, and they would do summary abatement, which in Illinois is even the destruction of the building. That's what ultimately led to us asking the Supreme Court to intervene, and as a result of our effort going to the U.S. Supreme Court, the governor literally did a 180, removed all restrictions on churches and houses of worship in Illinois. So right now, Illinois has zero restrictions, nothing whatsoever throughout the entire state, and that covers all houses of worship, including our Romanian churches that were the target of these bully tactics.